Alright guys, here's a quick update for you on this beast. So I hit everything already. I've sanded a lot of these spots that the clear coat was peeling away. It was just fading and getting down to the base coat. And in some of the spots, the base coat was faded as well. So then it just started rusting. So primarily the roof and the hood. So those spots the roof and the hood, I had to take down the whole thing down to bare metal. And that was a lot. It would have been a lot of work if it wasn't for this guy right here. This is a orbital sander from Harbor Freight. But the nice thing is electric. So you don't have to run a compressor and run that electric or the air orbital sander. So this made it really nice. Still a lot of work, it took some time. So but I already hit it with the first coat of primer, and then right here I have a guide coat. You can see kind of the black, which is just basically a flat black paint, and that just gives you an idea where you're sanding, that you're sanding it all off, that you're not missing any spots. If you don't use a guide coat and you go to spray, then you could hit a spot that's not sanded, and the paint won't stick. So anyways, but the hood here is primered. I'll show you a couple things here. Let me go around over here. So this is if you have a vehicle that the clear coat is coming apart, it's fading away, you see the lines, address it, because it really makes a lot more work when you have it, go down and start eroding into the paint, and rusting. And so anyway, I'm sorry, the bare metal, because there's no paint left. So anyway, but right here you can see all these different shiny spots. This is the bare metal, and these are kind of high spots. So what you do, I'm not trying to teach everybody how to paint here, because that's not my thing, but if you ever look down a hood or side of a car and you see it's kind of wavy, that means that's what this is. These little high and low spots, it's because the prep work isn't perfect. So what I do is I use a block sander, and I block all this out, and then that creates and shows all these high and low spots. So then what I'll do is I'll prime it again, and then I'll go ahead and go over it again with the block, and then that'll smooth that out. And once it gets all perfect and it's just all solid light gray like this, then I know that it's going to be a perfectly flat surface to paint on. So and that's really what show guys do. My dad was a hot rodder, so he painted all of his own vehicles, and so he taught me a few things about paint. I don't know it all, but anyways, but that was one of the things is, he used to sit there at car shows and you'd see the waves in cars, and he's like, oh, it's waving at you. Little joke. But anyway, you don't want your paint work looking like fiberglass, in other words, especially if you're going to be driving and seeing over the hood. I want this nice and glossy finish, nice and flat. So and all this stuff, one thing is you don't have to have a lot of expensive equipment to do paint work. If you Google a Lamborghini with a LS3 motor, or there's an article that was written up on that car, a Lamborghini, and it's called Devil Has a Change of Heart. So that was a 1995 Lamborghini Diablo that I restored. It took me 8 years, and I put an LS motor in that car, but I painted that car at my house. I didn't send it to somebody. It didn't see a booth or anything like that. And the paint came out really good. Show quality. It was very nice. And I actually started painting that with I bought a $300, I think it was, DeVilbiss spray gun. And I was like, I need this expensive spray gun, to make sure I do a good job. And you know what? For some reason, that spray gun, it just it didn't work as good for some reason as my $50 Harbor Freight spray gun. So I ditched the DeVilbiss, grabbed my Harbor Freight special, and I went to work and I painted that Lamborghini Diablo. It's a Dodge Challenger Hemi Orange Pearl is the color I chose for that car. And I painted that. My dad painted part of the pieces. I actually had that car completely apart. He took some of the pieces to his house up in Tucson, Arizona, and then I kept the body and the doors and some of the other parts here. So I painted, part of the car. He painted the other part of the car, and it took a lot of body work. So, anyways, but it just goes to show you that you don't really need all the expensive gear. Now, one thing like I can tell you for sure is like this, using paper like this is okay for primering, but it's better to use like the automotive paint paper when you're actually going to start spraying base and clear, because these actually have little tiny fibers in it, and it can actually get into the clear coat and stick onto the paint as well. But it's not ideal. I've done cars with it and it's okay, but it's not ideal. So, but the point is you can do this yourself, save yourself a lot of money and headaches by taking your car somewhere and letting it sit there for months, getting frustrated. And it does take, the secret is in the prep work, and the finish work. I've seen a lot of cars, even my Lamborghini, when I got that, somebody had painted it, and the way they painted it, they used too heavy a grit sandpaper, and then they primered over that, or they use it too heavy a grit sandpaper over the primer to sand it, and it was too coarse. And you could see under the clear coat and the paint, you could see all the lines from where they sanded. So you really have to be aware of that. You kind of have to have a know-how. And before I painted that car, I had a couple other cars around the house that I was like, hey, I'm going to paint those just for practice, and that's it. Somebody could tell you how to paint, and until you do it and actually experience what it's like to burn through clear coat and, sand through clear coat and down to the metal again, and have to fix your mistake and blend it in. And, those are things that you have to learn on your own. But it teaches you, you learn it, and then you've got that experience you can work with and share it with others. And so anyways, but I'm hoping to get this thing done this week. It's hot. The sun is baking down on this thing, so I can't do much painting right now, but I do have the doors off of the shelf, or the box there. They're ready to go. And if you do paint, just do section at a time. You don't have to sit there and overload your brain and, oh man, no, just do one section at a time. Take it easy, do it right if you can, and you'll be much, much happier. So anyways, that's about it for now. I hope you guys have a good weekend, and you take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.